And now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akugha as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Niger's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akugha. In today's package, we bring you, as usual, some of the most interesting stories trending in the Niger Delta. Our first report is centered on agitations by oil-producing communities for inclusion in the award of pipeline security surveillance contracts, which was part of the 16-point demands made by the Pan-Niger Delta Forum in its November 2016 meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. Next in today's lineup is a report on the response of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, to emerging health challenges in the Niger Delta region. Moving on, we'll bring you more reactions to the recent controversial sack of former Commissioner for Environment in Rivers State, Dr. AGBEDI's Tamuno. We will, in the course of the program, give you an update on the long-standing feud between Nigerian Agip Oil Company and its host communities in Ogba, Egbema, Ndoni local government area of Rivers State over alleged corporate social responsibility infractions. And finally, in today's package is a report on efforts by Honorable Fred AGBEDI, member representing Sagbama Ikirimo Federal Constituency, to address rising unemployment rates amongst his constituents. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back in just a moment. Don't go away.
Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, determined to make a difference.
Welcome back. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. In its November 2016 meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari, the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, had made 16-point demands as a precondition for sustained peace and development to thrive in the Niger Delta, one of which was the inclusion of host communities in pipeline surveillance contracts. Correspondent Tekena Amiofori reports that over 4 years after PANDEF'S historic meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari, local communities in the Niger Delta are yet to be fully integrated into the pipeline surveillance project designed to protect Nigeria's crude oil pipelines in the Niger Delta.
Prior to 2009, increased insurgency in the Niger Delta had crippled the Nigerian economy with daily attacks on crude oil facilities. While introduction of the presidential amnesty went a long way to douse militant activities in the region, it failed to significantly reduce pipeline vandalism and oil theft in Nigeria's oil belt. According to a 2013 report of the Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative (NEITI), Nigeria lost about $11 billion to pipeline vandalism and oil theft between 2009 and 2011. It was to drastically reduce the huge economic losses attendant on pipeline vandalism and crude oil theft that the pipeline surveillance scheme was rolled out by the federal government. As part of its contributions to the peace process in the Niger Delta, PANDEF had suggested inclusion of oil-impacted communities in the pipeline surveillance scheme. To the dismay of the communities, they are still sidelined by government agencies and oil companies in the award of pipeline surveillance contracts, a scenario that has bred dissatisfaction among several groups in the Niger Delta.
Look at the security surveillance contracts taking place in our region. Through the federal government and its agencies in place, they have decided to shortchange our people. Now in our territorial waters, it is an Israeli company that is providing waterway security, which we have competent hands with expert knowledge to manage and provide shore security services. Look at the likes of Ocean Marine Solution providing pipeline surveillance contracts in a territory that has more than enough capacity hands to handle such contracts.
The contract is a thing that the government should do from the grassroots. You must engage from the roots or the grassroots of that problem so that you can be able to solve your problem once and for all.
In its submission on security surveillance and protection of oil and gas infrastructure in the Niger Delta, PANDEF observed that it is therefore our view that an urgent review is done to pipeline surveillance contracts to give responsibility to communities rather than individuals in a manner that ties some benefits to their responsibility. Communities will then see their responsibility for the pipeline as protection of what belongs to them.
So this is their own way of saying, PANDEF'S way of saying, to guarantee your social license of operating in our communities, look at our youths, bring them in. The major issue here is most communities, most young people in the communities have not gotten these contracts. And those who have gotten it have gotten far more than they are due. And so this is one of the issues. How do we ensure inclusivity? How do we ensure that people are participating?
The pipeline security surveillance scheme was conceived as a short-term measure to provide a revenue stream for young people and oil-impacted communities and douse tension in the Niger Delta. For Professor Neni Barini-Zabe, a professor of environmental studies, a more sustainable livelihood program should rather focus on a shift from fossil fuels to agriculture in addressing issues of economic deprivation in the Niger Delta.
In order to reduce the impact of the environmental footprint of oil and gas production on the people of the Niger Delta, there is need to create alternative livelihood opportunities. One of such alternative livelihood opportunities could be surveillance contract. Beyond surveillance contract, I will also recommend that there is need to invest in robust program that involves sustainable livelihoods, such as sustainable agriculture, because the whole world is moving away from oil. The whole world is embracing green energy. The whole world is talking about environmental sustainability. Our case should not be different.
For its part, the Stakeholder Democracy Network, a non-governmental organization operating in the Niger Delta, advocates transparency in the award of pipeline surveillance contracts to allow for effective performance measurement and management. It is also of the view that it will take a transparent and equitable distribution to halt the increasing pressure for host communities' participation in pipeline security surveillance.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has restated its commitment to providing adequate health care for oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta. Interim Administrator of the NDDC, Akugha, made the pledge at the flagging off of the Commission's medical donations to 9 states of the Niger Delta recently in Port Harcourt. Correspondent Chika Abodize has the report.
At the flag-off ceremony for donation of vaccines and medical equipment to oil-producing communities, Interim Administrator of the NDDC, Akugha, said the gesture was made possible by release of funds by the Commission's statutory funding partners following a recent presidential directive. Akugha further disclosed that after consultations with its supervising Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, the NDDC decided to embark on a project to cater for the health needs of oil-producing communities across 9 states of the Niger Delta.
In the midst of paying contractors, paying for emergency jobs and deserting, we should also halt and look into the area of intervening in the health of the Niger Delta people. Why? Because it is often said that health is wealth.
Items donated to River State during the flag-off ceremony of the donation in Port Harcourt were hepatitis and typhoid vaccines, cold chain and incinerators for medical wastes. The NDDC boss, while noting that same donations would be made subsequently to other states in the Niger Delta region, however, warned that they should not be sold to beneficiaries under any guise.
This vaccine that we are going to give out today to all the states is free. So freely it has been donated and freely it must be administered.
River State Commissioner for Health, Professor Prince Will Chike, who represented Governor Nyesom Wike at the event, lauded the initiative rolled out under the supervision of Mr. Akugha.
The number of years NDDC has been around, if it's a human being, it's already an adult. And of course, when you have pediatric symptoms and ailment in a geriatric patient, you will know that something is wrong somewhere. But with the footsteps of the new CEO and MD, we believe a change is on its way.
Earlier, the NDDC helmsman observed that the donation of vaccines to the Niger Delta states was informed by last year's report of the World Health Organization that over 4.5 million persons died as a result of typhoid fever and hepatitis in the region.
Inside the Niger Delta. Introducing from the heart of Nigeria's Niger Delta region, a residential estate like no other, Victoria Creek Gardens Estate, VCG2 Airport Road, Port Harcourt, River State. A blend of aesthetics, functionality and simplicity built into 600 units of safe and comfortable accommodation. Located in an urban serene environment, VCG2 Estate is just 5 minutes away from the Port Harcourt International Airport. It features an already built police station, a shopping mall, hospital, hotel, cinema, club, gym, playground and many other facilities for your comfort. Purchase a home at our irresistible offer today for you and your family, or just simply invest in our real estate for a fantastic return on investments. For more information, call us on 070-410-01558 or visit our office at Plot 14 Woji Road, GRA Phase 2, Port Harcourt, Victoria Creek Gardens Estate, Oasis in the Garden.
Heritage Bank. Service, performance, respect, integrity, innovation, tenacity, excellence. Heritage Bank, your timeless wealth partner.
Azikel Group. Oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. Azikel Group. Petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability and infrastructure development.
The recent sack in controversial circumstances of former Environment Commissioner in Rivers State, Dr. AGBEDI Stamono, by Governor Nyesom Wike is still generating reactions from various quarters. In their submission, critics of Governor Wike had argued that the reason adduced for the sack of the former Environment Commissioner was unjustifiable, as he was only discharging his official duty of protecting the interest of Rivers people. Correspondent Lovely Ofigo has more.
On Tuesday, 30th March 2021, the Rivers State Ministry of Environment, under the leadership of Dr. AGBEDI Stamono, organized a press conference in Port Harcourt to give an update on air quality, which had been seriously compromised by soot in Rivers State.
This will be the first of many related engagements to ensuring that the Ministry of Environment fulfills its mandate of providing a healthier, cleaner and safer environment for the citizens of Rivers State.
Little did Dr. Stamono know that it was his last official function as Commissioner for Environment. In the middle of the all-important program attended by journalists and stakeholders in the environment sector, the former commissioner left unceremoniously after receiving a call. While the program was still ongoing, the news filtered in that the commissioner had been fired. 24 hours later, Governor Wike explained that the sacked commissioner exceeded the limits of his powers when he asked the construction giants to stop work on the Ogbunabali flyover construction project. The project's execution was said to have triggered a severe air pollution in the area.
Having interacted with the people or the residents of that particular area, I think it is only right that he interfaces with the company that operates there for the sake of our environment.
He sacked the commissioner because the commissioner insisted on doing his job, the job for which taxpayers' money was being given to him. So I don't think that is sufficient reason to ask the commissioner to leave office. And the commissioner was sacked in the middle of another very important activity. talking about the activity on black suits in Rivers State and air quality. So I think what the governor did is not a better way to go about it, even if he has the powers to hire and fire.
Under Section 192, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution, a state governor is empowered to hire and fire members of his or her cabinet to achieve said goals. In this case, however, opponents of Governor WIKE argue that public health and safety cannot be sacrificed at the altar of infrastructure development.
In as much as it is for the good or in the interest of the people to expand roads, to build bridges and all that, but you would not sacrifice the lives or the health of the people of the state to the activities of these companies.
Until the recent move by the sacked commissioner to address massive air pollution witnessed across Rivers State since the appearance of suits sometime in 2016, the Rivers State government had maintained a long silence on an issue that has spawned negative consequences for public health over the years.
In the short term, the result of it in the short term is that there are going to be respiratory issues. People like people are asthmatics and people who have bronchial issues are going to, that's the short-term result of these concentrated doses of this air, of this, I'll call it polluted air. Now, the long-term result, reproductive health issues, little kids are going to suffer delayed development. We are going to have children with more Down syndrome, and it will also affect their academic and cognitive abilities.
The absence of a commissioner for environment in Rivers State is not going to be a very good thing, because there was also a time in this state when the governor came to office for the second time. In the first batch of commissioner he appointed, he never appointed the commissioner for environment. I know how much and what we pass through in this state, because a lot of issues are in this state that we need to tackle almost immediately. We are here in Rivers State where we have the largest ever environmental cleanup going on in the Ogoni area. We are here in Rivers State where we have issues around black suits. Because there is black soot in the air, we have issue of air quality as a problem. The issue around artisanal crude oil refining too in the state is also an issue. So the vacuum that has been created by the sacking of the Commissioner for Environment cannot be overemphasized.
Worried about the controversial circumstances surrounding his sack, sympathizers of the former Commissioner for Environment have called on the Rivers State House of Assembly to immediately probe the incident. For others, however, it remains to be seen whether the state lawmakers can summon the courage to question the governor's decision in this matter.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Host communities to Nigerian Ajib Oil Company in Ogba-Egbema Ndoni local government area of Rivers State have expressed concern over its non-implementation of resolutions reached in a renewed agreement by both parties in December 2020. Chairman of the Onelga Oil and Gas Landlord Families Organization Incorporated, Chikobi Alali, in an exclusive interview with Inside the Niger Delta, disclosed that host communities are getting agitated over the delay in the payment of rent fees by the oil major, which was a highlight of last year's agreement.
After a prolonged dispute over alleged corporate social responsibility infractions, the federal government and its regulatory agencies in the oil and gas industry brokered a settlement between Nigerian Ajib Oil Company and the Onelga Oil and Gas Landlord Families in January 2019. As part of the peace deal, Ajib was mandated to increase fees payable on land lease to reflect fairness and carry out its corporate social responsibility to its host in Onelga. In a letter dated 29 March 2019, former Minister of State on Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiku, wrote a letter reminding Ajib to implement 9 resolutions reached at the peace meeting few months back in January. However, the Italian oil major failed to carry out the directive. Ajib's recalcitrance reignited agitations in the host communities, which gave rise to renewed discussions between both parties. Almost 24 months after the federal government intervened in a conflict fueled by corporate negligence and exploitation, Ajib in December last year agreed to increase fees on its land lease from a paltry 50 kobo to 30,000 naira per hectare of land. An exercise was immediately carried out at the instance of Ajib to verify those eligible for payments. However, no payment has been made till date.
They paid this money, the purported money, which you don't even know how much they've paid, to their own account. And since December up to now, they are doing business with this money in the bank. They purported that this same money will be paid to 4 states. But believe you me, nobody has ever taken a dime from the money. All the conditions they gave to us to fill form, from one form to the other to fill and have access to this money, all proved abortive. We fill all the form they say we should fill, yet we can't access this money. They are busy inciting problems between us. They are busy instigating trouble within the communities. They are busy buying people against themselves.
According to chairman of the Onelga Oil and Gas Landlord Families Organization Incorporated, Chikobi Alali, the attitude of AGBEDI is beginning to create tension in the communities.
The issue is that they are also building more trouble for themselves, because almost everybody has filled this form. They are waiting for this money. If they wait longer than this, they may also resort to any action they want to take. That is no longer me. So they have also instituted more problem for themselves that they may not even, they shouldn't call me, because the people they have told that they have paid, everybody is at alert. They want this money and they can't get this money. So we want federal government to come in. We want international communities to come in. You operate in my land. You cut in everything. The simple thing you have to do, you can't also do it. You use the army and other security agents to even intimidate the people you are working in their land. I mean, it's becoming too much.
In the January 2019 peace deal, AGBEDI was also mandated to provide scholarships and create employment for its host communities in Ogbaland. When contacted to respond to its delayed action on the rental agreement with host communities in Onelga, AGBEDI promised to get back to our crew. However, there was no word from the Italian oil major at the time of filing this report.
Inside the Niger Delta.
No fewer than 5 cooperatives engaged in small-scale businesses have benefited from credit facilities provided by Honorable Fred AGBEDI, member representing Sagbama, Ekirimo Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives. Speaking at the occasion of a presentation of checks to beneficiaries, Honorable AGBEDI said it was part of his contribution to support livelihoods in his federal constituency. Correspondent Lovely Ofigo has more.
A group of small business owners organized into 5 cooperatives are the latest beneficiaries of Honorable AGBEDI's empowerment scheme in Sagbama Ekirimo Federal Constituency of BAYELSA State. In a period of economic recession heightened by the COVID-19 pandemic, most startups have wound up, forcing many into the labor market. Rising to the occasion, Honorable AGBEDI decided to initiate a credit scheme in partnership with the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDEN, to enable small business owners access capital. Under the credit scheme, the cooperatives received between 500,000 naira and 2 million naira as grants to boost their businesses.
The man representing us in the federal constituency should keep growing higher and higher and higher. By so doing, he is exposing us to international community cooperative.
I'm telling you people that what Fred AGBEDI is doing now, a lot of people have not done that. Some of them went there to get the opportunity to go to London, go to England and come back. But Fred AGBEDI, remember his people. This is not the first time he's doing this.
The recent disbursement of financial grants to small business operators comes on the heels of skills acquisition and economic empowerment programs organized in Ekirimo and Sagbama local government areas of Bayelsa State. It also benefited some physically challenged persons.
Most times they suffer, rejection from the society. The society don't carry them along. They reject them. They don't get them employed. They don't even patronize them, but he has come to identify with them because seeing their products as good as this is wonderful. So I really want to thank him. Let other honorables also join to do what he's doing.
What is he trying to do? He's trying to tell us that you have not made a mistake for asking me to go and represent you.
Honorable AGBEDI explains that the skills acquisition and economic empowerment programs rolled out under his constituency projects are intended to support livelihoods in Sagbama Ekeremo Federal Constituency.
The driving force is knowing how difficult things are in Nigeria, knowing how difficult it is for people to heke out a living for themselves. I have the belief and understanding that people should be empowered in such a way that they can work by themselves, for themselves, make money, live their lives, and also be employers of labor.
Considering that the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, has consistently ranked BAYELSA among states with the highest unemployment rates in recent years, AGBEDI's efforts to promote self-employment is generally viewed as timely and most appropriate in Sagbama Ekeremo Federal Constituency.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, that's the size of our package on the program for today. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screen. Until next week, I am Mamode Akugha, thanking you for staying with us. Bye for now.